Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Everything Theater Podcast Backstage episode. I'm Ellen Cribbs.
And I'm Benita Zahn. Welcome aboard. I was telling Ellen I finally got to the swimming pool look going today.
And I've got I'm going to the pool tomorrow, so I didn't wash my hair today look.
That's what the summer's all about. That, and of course, a lot of summer stock, and probably a lot of people don't wash their hair all the time there either.
Yeah, and I'm finding the joys of I've been more of a Southern girl, used to air conditioning in places all the time. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting for me to be in places where they don't necessarily have air conditioning. So,
I wouldn't go back.
Yeah. So like rehearsing, it's fun when it's 90 plus degrees outside. And it's like, oh yeah, it's a little sweaty, but it's all good.
I'd be sliding off the chair. You gotta tie yourself on.
I know. I feel bad for Servant of Two Masters. We're looking at costume pieces, and there's this one coat that is gorgeous, but it is like a winter coat. So we made an arrangement with the actor. We said, we're going to try it for one rehearsal, and if it's too much, we'll think something
just
else.
Cut out the underarm,
Yeah.
A number of years ago, I was in the Park Playhouse production of Kiss Me Kate. And it was one of those blisteringly hot summers where you prayed for a rain out, because it's outdoor theater. And I joked that, it was a 4-week run. By about the end of the second week, the costumes just walked off you and stood in the corner. Oh, yeah. I don't think there was enough vodka spray to get us through that.
No.
So I feel for your actors.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be cooler in August, I'm sure.
One never knows, does one? What's interesting is all the theaters that are doing outside shows, reopening. But, we spoke with, Dina Janis from Dorset Theater Festival, and they've have not already completed, have been constructing an outdoor venue. And the Hubs was playing golf out in Williamstown. He said, babes, I don't think they're doing theater. He was there a few weeks ago. He goes, I didn't see anything on the sign because we always go over. I said, oh, honey, they're doing theater. Came back yesterday. He goes, you're right. And they're building something for outdoor seating.
Yeah.
They're bringing, and I jumped online. So it's a lot. There won't be a lot of air conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder how that will play with audiences.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I literally was just reading an article about, thoughts of revisiting the mask mandate for indoors, even for vaccinated people. And that's because of the variants, right? Being the concern. So we'll see how that impacts indoor theater. I think it's going to still be a continuing issue next season.
I think you're right. And if anybody wants, I do wear a different hat during the week, and I've got you can listen to the podcast or check it out online at wnyt.com, Health Beat. And I always bill it as your health info on the go because the interviews go between 5 and 7 minutes. And I've been following the Delta variant. Mm-hmm. And I've tried to think, I think it's on perhaps the 8th, as my guest will be talking about not only the Delta variant, but the super Delta. That's a new one, and it's just, I just shake my head. I was talking with a friend about this and she's like, I don't want to hear it anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why we all go to the theater. We want an escape.
Exactly. Let's get outdoors, enjoy some fun outdoor theater.
Yeah. And I told you I was on Fire Island a weekend ago, and I saw a guy he had a bag, and I'm like, excuse me, can I see your tote bag? They're waiting for somebody. It's just like, yeah, what? And it is Rattlestick Theater. So if I'm going to get a hold of them. I don't know if any of you have heard about that, the Rattlestick Theater in New York City. If you have been there, they have a fascinating season, really oriented to social justice, plays that deal with that. So stay tuned, kids. We're gonna book somebody from there.
Absolutely. And I'll also plug, because we're an upcoming guest is going to be a friend of mine, Kelly Gliptis, who is playing Aldonza in Man of La Mancha at Saratoga Opera.
Mm.
But the episode will go out after the show is closed, because it's only 4 days. That's it. That's all the chances you have to see it. So so if you're listening this week to this episode, that is July 8th, 9th, 10th. Oh, is it only? Maybe it's only 3 performances. I'm just looking at it now,
To
but
learn all that for only 3 shows.
Benita, I have no idea. I mean, I've done one show in my life that only ran one weekend, only 4 performances. It was You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. And it was the most heartbreaking show I've ever done, because
Yeah.
so much work went into that musical, and to have it done so quickly.
Right?
It's awful.
It's you're barely really getting your rhythm.
Yeah.
So we can ask gang, what do you think? Do you like a 1 week, 2 week, 5 week? Of course, you want the show never to end. I know, if you're getting paid. But seriously, when you're doing theater as an adjunct to your everyday life, in general, how long a run do you like? Let
Yeah.
us know.
That's a really interesting one.
Particularly in the community setting.
Yeah.
But I don't, yeah. So we got you had some interesting, you posted if people are working now about testing. We talked about that.
Yeah,
And
it was just a few people kind of posted that there seems like a lot of theaters are doing some form of testing, some people daily, some people weekly, but everybody was very enthusiastic about being back and totally willing to get tested all the time.
yeah, to be able to do that. And for the record, it's coffee in my Dare to Be Human from our improv when we were over
At Mopco.
That's right. See, I'm using the mug. I didn't just throw it away. It's in my rotation. So then we also asked on stage, something takes you out of the play, goes wrong, your mind starts wandering, you're thinking about what you're going to have for dinner, the fight you had, you're going to get lucky. I mean, all the important things in life. What do you do to snap yourself back into the scene? And Brittany said, I look into the eyes of my scene partner, unless my scene partner is the one who took me out of the scene.
Yeah, I mean, talk about breaking. Like, I am the ultimate. This is my bad habit as an actor. I break very easily. And if I am looking at the person who broke me, then forget it. I'm not going to get back on. Let's see.
I'm the one who we were doing the 5th of July many years ago. And I had I think it was in the 5th of July. Yeah. One of the monologues was tripping me up, and it wasn't that bad. It was just tripping me up. And I was working opposite John Allen, a very fine actor, fabulous voice. And John just had to read my eyes. It would be like I would say whatever the lines were, and they'd give him the look like, that's all you're getting. It's pretty close. Be happy. I just had a block to, I have a feeling, I don't know, we did 14 performances. I think he got 13 variations on that line.
That's why the scene partner is so important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Dennis says, I suppress the panic as best as I can and either continue with the scene or ad lib to cover.
Oh, ad lib. Man, he's living dangerously.
Yeah. I mean, some people can do it, some people can't. I've seen some really bad ad libs in my time, and others that you would not realize were not part of the play.
How would you feel like as the scene partner being ad libbed at?
I think I just take it as a cue of they're lost. I need to take the reins and get us back on.
Go sit down. I'm talking.
I'm going to do your monologue now.
We've probably all done this where for whatever reason, you've got 2 or 3 cues that are an awful lot alike and you jump.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wonder if oh my God, what did I not say? How do I get back there?
My favorite was when I was in high school. We did the mousetrap. And my character in the scene didn't say much, had about 3 lines. And I was supposed to be sitting reading a newspaper while the scene was happening. And so the scene progresses and someone exits, and I think, I never said my line. What happened there? And that seemed really fast. Turns out we all realized at the same time that someone had skipped about 3 pages.
Oh,
And these
wow.
were like three really important pages that basically explain the whole plot of the mousetrap when the detective comes in and explains
Yeah.
everything. So we all continued with the scene, referencing things that had not been talked about because we had skipped them, got off stage, and then the detective and someone random was just standing next to him, and they just walked on stage and made up an entire scene to cover all the information that
Oh
we had
my
skipped.
God. Wow. That's an ad lib you appreciate.
Yeah.
He went on to become a lawyer, probably.
Probably.
Or her. Yeah. Lord. Let's see. Chris says, for me, it's usually a case of going on autopilot during a scene. When I catch myself doing that, I end up hearing my old Meisner teacher, Ted Horrell, in my ear saying, "Attention on your partner." My focus then snaps back to my scene partner in given circumstances, and I'm able to get back to reacting authentically in the moment. Chris, that's great, but what happened in that 2 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, we're taking it from our perspective, but that's great that you hear it and you get back, Chris. I mean, props to you. But it's while we're talking from this perspective, when it's the scene partner who realizes you've gone off the ranch.
Yeah. Like,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that eye contact.
Yeah.
Patrick says, listen like crazy. Throw all my attention on my partner where it belongs. Thank Meisner for my repetition skills.
Meisner.
Meisner.
I'm sure he cashed a lot of checks. Kathleen says, I love her. I sometimes think about a post-show Guinness during a scene, particularly during a long run, just for a second or so, always mindful of my upcoming cue. Ah, Kathleen, darling, I'm sure you're thinking about that Guinness. I've tipped a few with you.
Some people can do that. Some people can let their mind wander.
Yeah. No.
Not me.
No, I mean, it's happened. It happens though.
Mm-hmm.
When I think mostly, at least for me, Ellen, it happens when I've got a long pause on stage and I'm working my listening skills and being in the moment. But there's that moment where you think, damn, that shoe hurts. What did she say? What did she say? Right?
Well, I'm talking of long runs. Our question for next time, that to me happens on long runs. You just get to the point, you've done the play so many times and you just have a performance where you just kind of zone out.
Yep.
Because it feels like, oh, I'm just going through the motions. And you're like, no, stay in it. Don't
That's
become
right.
a robot.
Right. Did I say it? Didn't I say it? Did I say it? Didn't I say it? you know?
What scene are we on?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Amanda says, if something goes wrong, focus on the story being told and my character's place in making that happen. Connect to others on the stage and try to read their status on the situation. Did they notice? Are they lost? Are they frozen in panic? Are they about to make a move, etc.? Give it a beat to see if they're going to do something that I will need to react to or if they're waiting for me. Then do what I can to save the scene. It is amazing how quickly this process happens in my head, and I'd be interested to see what it looks like to an outsider.
I'm not so, and that's just what we've been talking about. And I think it's not so much what the audience sees, it's what the audience hears. And it's not the words, it's the rhythm.
Yeah.
There is a rhythm in a play. And when the rhythm gets off, it's when the audience who's been going, should I turn off the coffee pot? And what just happened on stage? Right? Don't you think it's more that the rhythm?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. John Romeo says, I guess I've been lucky, except for maybe 3 or 4 times in a 40-year life on the stage. But I agree with Patrick White. Get back to listening.
Just your basic acting class. that
Yeah,
you need to listen. First thing about being an actor.
right.
Valerie says, I kept worrying I'd forget lines, which was self fulfilling, of course. So instead, I kept thinking about the laughs I'd get and how cool that'd be, as laughter inspires me. Thinking about how I'd fail would not inspire me. So no matter your lines, whether funny, intense, love, hate, whatever, you're making people feel something, and that's inspiring. You are inspiring. If I know anything about acting, at least a little bit I've observed, is that it's about being inspired by inspiring the audience. It's a beautiful thing.
I wish I had some music to go under that.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah, but yeah, Valerie, so beautifully said.
Yeah.
Joan, I love you, Joan. She says, absolutely agree with listening and focusing on your scene partners. Just like in real life, the way to get out of your head is to focus on others. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the lingo, everything's about being mindful.
Mm-hmm.
You can't open or hear a TED talk or anything without mindful. But that's really what it is.
Yeah.
It's listening, but really listening, not planning your next question or your response or, thinking about how you're looking in the moment. You're hanging on on somebody else's every word.
Yeah. And you know, something personally I do, listening to the people on stage, but also listening to my own character's voice. I'm a big fan of subtext and, the inner monologue that happens. And so, especially if I have a scene where someone talks at me for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to kind of get that zoned out feel.
Mm-hmm.
But I will snap into thinking to myself, I will, as the character, what do I think about what that person just said? And running that inner monologue of, how dare
Exactly.
you said that? Or you're like, oh my gosh, I need to do, whatever it
Right.
is to get me actively listening with
Yeah.
my own thoughts.
I'm sure you do you have a backstory for your character?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you're having that conversation uh, before you walk out on stage,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And it's always amazing to me when somebody says to me, backstory. Now I just say my lines.
Yeah.
Okay. But okay, if it, you know what, if it's working, if it comes true, if it rings true, then great. Um, but I think you got to have a backstory,
Yeah. I love directors who take the time to do the table work to really figure out the backstory, figure out the relationships between people.
right?
It's so important.
Yeah. Yeah. Some directors get a little too.
Yeah. You can't spend too much time doing table work. Yeah.
You can, sometimes a cigar is a cigar, but I think I'm with you. I think it's critical. So I'm
Yeah.
just taking a quick peek. So, while Broadway really isn't back until, I guess, autumn,
Mm-hmm.
Hadestown will reopen, Hamilton in September, Wicked in September, The Lion King. I mean, the list goes on. Chicago, Lackawanna Blues, they've got previews coming. Six. I really would like to check that out.
And that's gonna
For
be
the
touring in 2022. I just saw.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's the six ex-wives of Henry VIII in an electrifying history remix. American Utopia should be great. Yeah, the fave come from away, and they just shot the movie. They shot the show, and it will be on celluloid. This one looks interesting to me. It's the name and also the actors in it. Chicken and Biscuits.
Oh yeah, I just heard about this one.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Norm Lewis and Michael Urie are in that.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be in Circle in the Square. It's a raucous family comedy, so full of laughter and love, it'll leave you begging for seconds. The Jenkins family is coming together to celebrate the life of their father, hopefully without killing each other. Boy, that sounds like life. But any hopes for peaceful reunion unravel when a family secret shows up at the funeral.
Dun dun dun.
Right? But I think that one sounds great.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a fun one. And don't you just love to go to Circle in the Square?
I love Circle in the Square. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Yeah.
I saw, well, let me ask first. Do you remember, is there a show that you particularly loved seeing there, or maybe something you didn't expect to fit in there that really worked?
That Fun Home was there, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked Fun Home there. And Once on This Island, was that also Circle Square?
It may have been. It may
I'm
have been. I
trying to remember
saw,
because it always looks so different every time you go.
I know.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it was. And that if that was amazingly use of the space.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was.
That would have been, I could see that because it
Yeah.
becomes immersive.
Oh, I sat in the front row and literally like the sand was under my feet.
Wow. Oh,
It's great.
I saw Oklahoma there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, not what you, it's not the theater you expect to see it in. You expect it to be proscenium,
Right.
And they cook. They put up, um, pots, slow cookers,
Mm.
for the fair. And at intermission, you're invited to go down and eat.
Oh, wow.
It was kind of crazy. So yeah, so that's just a great house.
Yeah.
So we got to do chicken and biscuits.
That I'm in.
Okay. Let's see what else. Moulin Rouge is reopening. The Lehman Trilogy, acclaimed epic weaving through two generations of bankers. Doesn't that sound talky?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But it's opening before that. Springsteen on Broadway is coming back.
Oh, okay.
And that opens June 26th.
Wow.
So it already opened.
That's like the earliest one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Passover, limited run at the August Wilson Theater. And it draws inspiration from Waiting for Godot and the Exodus story, and is placed on a city street corner. Moses and Kitch are the stars as they stand around talking shit, passing the time, and hoping that maybe today will be different. As they dream of their promised land, a stranger wanders into their space and disrupts their plans. I hear Passover and I think matzah.
I say that sounds like a plot for Waiting for Godot. So there you go. Definitely inspired.
Yeah. So it looks like a great season and a lot of activity going on in the capital region.
So much. Yeah.
Yeah. You're getting ready to open.
Yep. I should know this as the director, but I'm going to pull up my calendar. I was right. August 6th to August 15th at the Shaker Heritage Site, Servant of Two Masters. It's going to be a complete joy.
Fallen Chandelier Productions, which had been geared for kids before they became a 501c3. And they are doing Love, Loss, and What I Wore at the end of the month, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Nice. Of July, obviously not June. And that will be at Hudson Shores, an outdoor space. It's at if you're on 787, you get off to go to Green Island, and immediately on your right is the park. It's a lovely spot. So they're going to be performing there as a dinner theater. So jump online, check them out. You'll order beforehand.
Nice.
Out of doors. That's all I got for you, my sister.
Sounds good to me. And so, so tune in next week. We are talking to Victoria about one woman show. And then after that, we'll be talking to Kelly Gliptis about opera. But in the meantime, you guys got to tell us about your preference for length of run. Do you like the shorts in and out? Do you like the long run? What is the perfect length of a run?
And I'm going to just sweeten the pot a little. Have you gone right from one to the next without a break?
Ooh. Or done at the same time?
Yeah, that to me is so crazy.
Shout out to my dear friend, Ryan Palmer, who's playing Truffaldino in Servant of Two Masters. He he was cast and said, well, these are my conflicts, because he was also doing a one-man show at Theater Barn. He did Fully Committed. He's fabulous in that. Sadly, it closes this weekend. So, well, if you listen to this, you have a chance to go see it this weekend. But yeah, he rehearsed with us for about 2 weeks, and then he disappeared for 2 weeks and learned that entire show within like a week, basically, and opened it. And then he's back at rehearsals with us now as he's running the show at Theater Barn.
Crazy man.
I don't know how he's doing it, but he's nailing it because he's awesome.
Yeah, and he got good reviews, good notices.
Yes.
Good. So enjoy the rest of the run.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, we'll talk to you next time. I'm Ellen Cribbs.
And I'm Benita Zahn, and thanks for joining us for this edition of Everything Theater.